All right, let's start. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante buri panya tata kata Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipana anuttara sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang paripunang panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Vadita Visukadasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani sikkhapadang Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Idang me silang Magapala Jnanasa Pachayo Hotu Appamadena Sampadeta Sa. Let's do some guided upeka before we start the Dhamma talk. Now let us sit here. Let's keep the mind present. Let go of all the vipassana noting objects. Just be present here, calm and peaceful. Let go of all the thoughts, planning, memories, thought. Then relax the body. Relax the body from top of the head. Relax the forehead, the face, the neck and shoulders. Relax the arms, chest area. Relax the stomach area, spine, the back, hips, buttocks. Relax the thighs and knees, calves, ankles, soles, toes. So relax the whole body, keeping the mind present, calm, and yet alert. I am the owner of my own karma. I am the owner of my own karma. Karma is my closest relative. Karma is my closest relative. Whatever wholesome action, speech, or thoughts that I've done in the past, they will give rise to happiness in the present or in the future. Or whatever unwholesome actions, speech, or thought I've done in the past, then it will give rise unhappiness in the present or in the future. I am the owner of my own karma. I too subjected to the law of samsara, to aging, sickness, death, and rebirth. I'm subjected to the law of samsara. I'm subjected to the law of karma. May I be able to accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, but with calmness and understanding. May I be able to accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, but with calmness and understanding. Now let us expand. All of us here, all the beings here, monks and nuns, fellow yogis, to the workers, to the helpers, volunteers, to all the donors, sponsors, to all the guardian devas of this center, to all other devas around here, to all the betas, and to all the animals, big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. All of us here are subjected to the law of karma. We are the owners of our own karma. Karma is our closest relative. Whatever wholesome action, speech, or thoughts that we have done in the past that will give rise to happiness in the present or in the future. And whatever unwholesome action, speech, or thoughts from the past that will give rise to unhappiness in the future, in the present, or in the future. We are the owners of our own karma. We too are the owners. We too are subjected to the law of samsara. We go through aging, sickness, death, rebirth. May we be able to accept the truth. May we all able to accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, but with calmness, with understanding, and with wisdom. May we all able to accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, but with calmness, understanding, and with wisdom. Now let us expand further. Let's expand to all the beings in this country, humans or non-humans, devas or petas, animals big, small, far or near, seen or unseen. All beings in this country, they are subjected to the law of karma. They are the owners of their own karma. Karma is their closest relative. Whatever wholesome deeds you have done in the past, then it will give rise to happiness in the present and in the future. And whatever unwholesome deeds you have done in the past, they will give rise to unhappiness in the present or in the future. They are all subjected to the law of karma. They are the owners of their own karma. They too are subjected to the law of cycle of birth and rebirth. They go through aging, sickness, death, and rebirth. They are able to accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, but with wisdom, understanding, and calmness. Now let us expand further, reaching out to all the beings in this world, humans or non-humans. May they be our loved ones near or far away, or those whom we do not know wherever they are, and to those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. To all the guardian devas of the sasana, to all other devas residing in this world, to all the petas, to all the animals, big, small, far or near, seen or unseen. All beings in this world, they are the owners of their own karma. They are subjected to the law of karma. Whatever wholesome deeds they have done in the past, then it will give rise to happiness in the present or in the future. Whatever unwholesome deeds they have done in the past, then it will give rise to unhappiness in the present or in the future. All beings in this world, they are the owners of their own karma. Karma is their closest relative. They are subjected to the law of karma. All beings in this world, they go through the cycle of birth and rebirth. They go through sickness, aging, death, and rebirth. All beings in this world, subjected to the law of karma, subjected to the law of samsara. May I be able to accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, but with calmness, understanding, and wisdom. Now let us expand. Let us reach out to all beings without exception. All beings in this universe or universes, all beings from the highest plane of existence down to the lowest plane of existence, all beings in all the world systems, all beings without exception, they are subjected to the law of karma. They are the owners of their own karma. Karma is their closest relative. Whatever wholesome deeds they have done in the past, then it will give rise to happiness in the present or in the future. Whatever unhappiness, whatever unwholesome deeds they have done in the past, they will give rise to unhappiness in the present or in the future. All beings are subjected to the law of karma. They are the owners of their own karma. All beings subjected to the law of samsara, aging, sickness, death, and rebirth. May I be able to accept the truth. May I be able to accept the reality without fear, without anxiety, but with understanding, with wisdom, and with calmness. All beings are owners of their own karma. All beings are the owners of their own karma. Now slowly let go of the reflection and bring the mind back to the present. Bring the mind back to the present. Feel the sensation rise and fall the abdomen. Feel the body here. Then we can slowly open our eyes. So last week on Friday, we were talking about Upeka. And Upeka, as I said, if you use it in the development of Vipassana, then this nature of this Upeka, as they grow stronger, then it will keep the mind in balance. It will keep the mind, in other words, that you are not affected so much by fear or thinking or thoughts. And then on the other extreme, it's not affected so much by the pleasantness or happiness or joy. But the mind can able to stay in the middle. And with that, it helps to keep the mind in balance so that your noting mind become very clear. Not excessive, not deficient. The more that you are able to do, the more that able to keep the mind in balance and then the progress take place. We find that a lot of things like our especially our unwholesome states of mind begin to decrease over time. Yeah. Not to say zero, but decrease. In the sense that, for example, when a situation that deals with usually that give rise to sadness or give rise to fear, then this type of fear, we can able to manage them better. Or this sadness, we can manage them better. It doesn't affect the mind so much. In other words, you can able to recover much more faster than before. One thing is good that when we do Vipassana is that we take notice of this type of fear, we take notice of this type of sadness or anger or annoyance, because we look into the characteristic. We look into their characteristics, how the nature of fear or how the nature of anger or how the nature of sadness that arises in the mind or in the heart. So with that, because of that understanding and because of the development of the mind, then it helps that it helps in your everyday life, that whenever the situation is like that or going to give you the fear or the sadness and so on, then your mind can able to hold back. Your mind can able to hold back so that it doesn't fall into so much fear, so much of sadness and or desire and so on. So that is very good because the mind keeps it, at least we cannot have perfect in the middle, but we don't fluctuate too much. Don't fluctuate too much. And that is actually is a kind of happiness. It's a type of happiness that comes with actually with understanding, come with wisdom, and come with that whatever that is going on, that not that your mind do not know, but your mind actually knows everything. Whatever is the situation is in that, whenever you are in that situation. So it's good. So the more that we can able to develop the mind, especially in the Vipassana, then it's becomes stronger. But then doesn't mean that if we don't exercise it in our everyday life, then again you're going to fluctuate again. You see, in the development of Vipassana, because of, especially in the beginning part and then not so deep yet, you develop the mindfulness, you develop a concentration, and all they come together. After some days in the retreat, your mind is much more stable. Your mind is much more stable to whatever that's going on. If you are mindful, if you are alert. And usually with that, you will find that small things, it doesn't affect you so much. You know? People talking sometimes a bit, but not so much. Uh, the mind gets better. You know? Uh, but what I'm trying to say is also that when we finish a retreat, whenever we go back or whenever we are out there, yeah, there's also a lot of time for us to exercise equanimity. We cannot expect that. We cannot expect that just because we develop mindfulness and development of equanimity and also all the factors of enlightenment in the retreat. But then we don't exercise it in our everyday life. In other words, you see, the four Brahma Vihara of the Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekkha. Most of the time, we practice the first three, but the fourth one, we don't really practice them because life for us, we have an understanding or we have actually a wrong perception that the fluctuation give you the happiness. Yeah, very joyful, very happy. Or then, of course, another aspect is a bit of sadness, fear, and so on. More colorful. In fact, that if you want to see movie also, you want to see people's emotion one. You cannot see like the monk like that always tiam tiam. What type of movie? Nobody want to watch. Very quiet and so on. No feeling, nothing, no emotion, nothing. That's why because of that, this type of emotion state, we don't really like it that much. So that's why we are influenced to have all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of happiness and all kinds of anger and all kinds of fear and so on. Because what we see and what we do in our everyday life. And we are not really being taught to calm the mind down or calm the senses down. Now you see, a lot of times we love this type of metta thing because metta is pleasant. May all beings be well and happy. May I be well, happy. It's kind of like a feeling that is wholesome, but it's pleasant. It's pleasant. It's nice. Yeah. Even you do compassion work also, for example, you help somebody, you feel other people get happy, you find that yourself also become happy, and you're happy for them because they are also become happy. And that is also mudita. Yeah. We learn to exercise mudita in many parts of our life, like especially when we do something wholesome and then we say sadhu to them. Yeah. The thing is that nowadays, whether the sadhu becomes so automatic or actually you meant it. So if you really meant it, then it's good actually. Because this type of mudita, when you put it into every part of your life, then you find that you can able to rejoice in whatever people's success are, whatever people's gain or accumulation. Sometimes when you go to office, that is where you don't like somebody get promotion. You don't like somebody get more things than you. You want more. Now, even you come to a spiritual world also, this thing also is not too far away from the teachers or even the monks and nuns. Even the monks and nuns also, sometimes if the teacher give more attention to one person, others are already, already, they get they get very annoyed, with the nun or with the monk, in a big in a big monastery, this type of human relationship, that we cannot get like happy for them, in the sense that perhaps We do not know what's the background of the person getting more attention from the teacher or from others, Perhaps maybe they have some problem. The teacher take note of them more carefully. So this is like that. In the world of meditation, in the world of monks and nuns, these things do happen. Yeah. Sometimes, like even in monks, that if you are more senior, then you get more things on Less senior, habuk pun tak ada. Yeah, sometimes again here there are many monks, and then usually offerings when it's given, they're given to the most senior monk. And then of course with all these type of offerings, the junior monks may not get the best of it. Yeah? So they got to wait their turn when they become senior, as they move up, from year after year by wasa. Not because you're Arahan or Sotapanna, Nobody's going to know who you are also. Yeah, Sotapanna, or you think you're Arahana, first wasa, and you stand at the back also. Uh, there's no such thing in the Buddha's this way. And then who is Arahan and stay in the front. Yeah, everybody can claim they're Arahan already. Then with that, it can become a problematic. So as I said, even in the world of spiritual world, this type of uh, jealousy or envy, it's always there. It's a matter of whether you can able to realize it or not. Sometimes the jealousy is not on the monks themselves, but actually it's on the teachers themselves too. Sometimes they compare themselves with other monastery or other teachers. Wow, he got more disciple than me. Or he got famous devotees go to the temple. My temple, nobody want to come. Calafare one, coming. That type of mentality, And because of that, then places become famous and so on. Then sometimes they get jealous. But these type of things very much in the world of spiritual world, not only in Buddhist world, but also in the world of any other religious community and so on. This type of jealousy can be very strong. So again here, the mudita it has to be exercised, that we can truly able to rejoice whatever people's gains, whatever people's accumulation, and so forth. But when it comes to upeka, that is sometimes we struggle to learn where to put it. But actually, a lot of us has already done it. But whether we don't realize that it's connected to upeka. The reflection on karma, that what we do, that if you have been doing it for a long period of time, then it's a kind of upeka. Because when you reflect on it, you are not happy, neither you are sad. But because it's the truth, because it goes accordance to reality, it goes accordance to the nature of the truth, then it comes with wisdom, it comes with understanding. So this one, then we have to exercise it, we have to apply it in our situations in our life. So say for example, I think I gave this a little bit further back. Some weeks or some 1 month back, I think so. I was talking about exercising this equanimity, like in everyday life. Like for example, like you are traveling on a car. You see accident, horrible accident sometimes, at the next part of the road, the other side of the road, not on your side of the road, the coming side of the road. You're going somewhere and the other side, and then you saw. And sometimes when you see this type of accidents, and this accident is still there, and sometimes you see blood there. Sometimes you see people like flying out from this one. Sometimes you may see motorcycle, and then the rider and the pillion, and then the rider and the pillion is all dead there, and they are still there, and you pass through. What will be your feeling during that time? We cringe and we do not want to look at it also. But you cannot run away. Yeah. You cannot run away. Sometimes the traffic jam is right in front of them, because everybody also want to have a look. Then it slow down. So what are you going to do this time? This is the time is for you to exercise upekkha. Not metta, not mudita, not this one. Because you cannot be happy for the dead person, is it? Impossible. You cannot be, may you be well, it's already passed already. This time is where the upekkha comes in. This time is the reflection of to keep the mind steady. Because if not, the mind fear. And when sometimes you see these type of things, it etch into our memory. And then after some time later in future, then this type of memory comes up. Then we find the heart is so affected by it. Even the whole thing is no more there. So because at that time, we don't really protect our mind. So perhaps you protect the mind with upekkha. You look at it, they are the owners of their own karma. All of us are owners of their own karma. Not to say that because the person is. Sometimes I realize that sometimes we use this karma thing in order to, because we don't like somebody else, Maybe like politician, Nah, yeah lah. You do all bad thing, karma will come after you. We can't with that anger and with that irritation. And that is not upekkha anymore. You use the karma only, but it's not upekkha. It's irritation is there already, but we don't see it. Upekkha is the mind that is, if they do good things or do bad things or whatever they have done, the mind is not like starting to seeking revenge or whatever. The mind is understood that whatever wholesome or unwholesome deeds they have done, they will bear their own karma. So to the person like in a date right now, so whatever wholesome or unwholesome deeds they have done, then if they're reborn in the happier planes of existence, or they're reborn in this one, wherever they are, we wish them well. So in the sense that the mind is stabilized. The mind is stabilized without anger or without annoyance. And so too sometimes, like when we attend funeral, you attend, how many funeral we have attended? The older you get, the more funeral you're going to attend. The more funeral you're going to attend. So the thing is that there will be loved ones. There will be loved ones, or there'll be your best friends, or there'll be your long-term friends that you know. Or even sometimes, too bad sometimes is that parents have to attend the children's funeral. Or sometimes a grandfather got to attend the grandchildren's funeral. It's supposed to be other way around, but life is like that, So what are you going to do this time? Now again here, the reflection on karma, and also that the Buddha says the 5 contemplation, the daily contemplation, contemplating on the sickness, aging, death, separation from loved ones, and contemplating on karma, daily contemplation. This type of daily contemplation, and we contemplate it again and again. Don't contemplate. No, I'm not to say don't. If you find that you want to only contemplate when the funeral is there, that's a bit too late already. Your tears and your sadness will be tremendous. You can't even contemplate anymore at that time. You're supposed to, when things are going well, when life is going soon, there's no death or there's no this thing. That time, you got to contemplate already. Yeah. You got to reflect on those type of things, especially when we are out there. Don't do it in the retreat time. Retreat time, no time to contemplate. Because out there, you got not much time to meditate. You don't have much time to note. So you do the next best thing, contemplate. Yeah, the next best thing. Yeah, you contemplate long enough over time. Again, you find that the mind is much more stable. When these things happen, when somebody send you a, a WhatsApp message or send you any messages, the moment that you read it, yeah, then instead of your mind goes into panic mode or going into like despair or lost hope, the mind comes into the middle. Then it comes into the middle. Yeah. All these type of things, one way or another, it will happen to us. But these type of things, if you don't contemplate it rightly, then it will become a big problem because the fear, the anxiety will start eating into our mind. You see, especially we Chinese, we don't talk about death one. You talk about death during Chinese New Year, it's even worse. Kena sepa from the elders. Yeah. You cannot talk all these type of things because again, this is a cultural thing. But cultural thing doesn't mean it's a good thing. We respect, of course, If we don't say it out, doesn't mean our mind don't reflect on these type of things. Sometimes also once in a while, we may see that, right on the first day, second day, somebody pass away. The funeral has to be done also, on the first day or second day. You cannot run away from that thing. So all these kind of things are when you're out there, you got to reflect. You got to reflect, and then not only reflect, you look into yourself. Is the mind stabilized or not? Is the mind without fear or not? Is the mind without the sadness or not? Or is the mind that, for example, if you go through you go through a funeral, and then you comparative for yourself and yourself in the past, let's say, you find that yourself is much more able to accept death and so on. And that means the mind has come into a much more stability, much more stability and so on. That is good, which is good. That means there's along the way, there's improvement. Or perhaps sometimes on the other occasion, like like what? I want to give an example of, again, car, but people are going back tomorrow. The thing is that sometimes normally a lot of things doesn't happen, but suddenly you go on a long trip, suddenly the car broke down somewhere or puncture somewhere. The whole thing is that the mind goes into a panic mode. Again, the panic mode here is where the mind is not stabilized. We kind of like do not know what to do. Of course, perhaps you do not know how to change a tire, yes. But the mind panic first. That's the problem. The more that you panic, the more that you're afraid of what is happening there. Yeah? Like, for example, I've met with people once in a while, that they go into hiking in the forest. They hike. They thought that hiking in the forest like going to a shopping mall like that now. and and they get panicked. Luckily, sometimes there are people, or sometimes once in a while, I do see this. I see this type of people. They're in a panic mode. Do not know which path to take. Do not know what to do. Yeah. So the thing is that the more that you panic, the more that your mind is totally do not know what to do, and you build up that type of panic mode. Like anything, something is disagreeable to you. You are not sure. Somebody died. Somebody got accident, or you yourself got accident, or you yourself being given 6 months to live. Then everything you go into a panic mode already, go into fear and go into all these kind of things. So the thing is that again here, the equanimity is not there. The moment we hear these kind of things, the mind goes into all kinds of frenzy thinking and so on. Yeah. We do not know, like, hear these kind of things. We take it with the openness and calmness. And again, here, a lot of your reflection that you've done in the past actually helps you to calm the mind down, to get the mind steady, so that you know what are you going to do in the subsequent steps, or in the subsequent days or subsequent hours. Yeah. Sometimes, for example, we have met with and somebody died. The moment somebody died, the closest relative, they go into to a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, and so on. They do not know what to do. The mind cannot function at that time. Cannot function. So you always will be good that we learn how to bring the mind into that. This one, to that calmness, to that middle. Neither we are happy about it, neither we are unhappy about it, but we can able to understand what is going on. Yeah? And that will be upeka. Yeah. There will be a lot of upeka that we can able to do. Yeah? Then what else? Yeah? So a lot of things when we are out there, we have to exercise this type of upeka as best as we can. Not just metta, compassion, but we totally forget about upeka. Actually, the four Brahma Viharas, when we practice, you have to practice them equally. You cannot like practice one area only, you are good at it. Then other areas are not so good at it. You all be well and happy, but when somebody is better than you, your envy all come up also. Because life is not always metta. Life is changing from one situation with different people, with different scenario. Then we have to learn to adapt our Frau Brahma Viharas into a different area. So it's always good that we learn how to adapt when the situation is not good, especially we adopt with the with this thing, with upeka. Now, like when we have become a monk or a nun, whether you like it or not, you are asked to control your senses. You're being asked to control your senses. That means, like, for example, when we go out for pindapat, when we go out pindapat, the eyes has to be looking like 5 or 6, unless there's places there. We cannot be like pindapat and then look here, look there. Tak boleh, lost, the devotees will lost faith. Yeah. So that one, for example, when we expected to this one, even like, for example, when you're a lot of people, you have functions, the big functions, number of monks here, and then there'll be devotees sitting in front of all the monks. There'll be sometimes there are 100 devotees and so on. So here again, the monks are taught to don't fidget too much, don't move too much, don't look here and there too much. Control the senses. other words, if something is pleasant, don't get attracted to it. Somebody is beautiful, don't go and look at them. Yeah, because all types of people will be coming in. Yeah, all types of people will be coming in to the function. So you have to control the senses. So in controlling the senses, that means in a way that we keep the mind into balance, not get too attracted to the sound or to the scenery or to the function, to the things, and not got too annoyed with the whole thing. Sometimes you sit down there, it's quite warm, fan may not be enough, or you, and then things quite unpleasant, your leg is quite painful and so on, and then you're going to sit quietly. You cannot like keep on fidgeting in front of everybody, can you? Yeah. So you have to be quite this one. So you train it long enough, and then it becomes uh, uh, your attitude, your attitude that whenever you go to places and so on, you keep the mind steady. You keep the mind steady, and which is good. Yeah? And then with that, the faith of the devotees will start to build up because of, in a way, discipline. In a way, discipline in the eyes, the senses, and so on. Yeah. So these kind of things are important. These kind of things are important. And also sometimes like monks or nuns, you go out to places, they're not, people who like monks are very few. People don't like monks are a lot, or nuns are a lot. So usually we don't go out because we go out there. Sometimes people don't like us. Let's look at you, Sawyer. you know, they see the monks is already so already as, I think Cantonese small. So they don't like the monks. So we have to bear up. Yeah. To be able to bear up, to be able to be patient with all these kind of things. And patience here is another word of effort, is another word of mindfulness, is another word of upeka. That the mind doesn't fluctuate. That somebody tells you that you go away and you scold you and whatever. You, the training is that you're not supposed to get angry about it. Of course, at that time you cannot get. I mean, the anger may be a bit there, but you have to be control of your speech and control of this one. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a training actually. So we are trained in that area. We are trained into that area to hold back all your senses so that you keep your body calm and your mind equanimous. Yeah? Even sometimes, like for example, when you have a group of monks, they are discussing, and the seniors are discussing. The juniors, no matter how panda you are, you have to keep your mouth shut. Sometimes some juniors that forget that come to a discussion, they thought that they know a certain subject better than the seniors. Oh, they want to pandai put it. No, you get knocked down. Unless you're asked to speak, you speak. You don't ask to speak, you keep quiet. Keep your mouth tightly shut and stay there and quite stay there. This is how the training is. So this type of training in all this one is to keep the senses controlled. Is to keep the senses controlled, because this also is helpful when you train it long enough. When you go to places to meditate, and when you have situation that is disagreeable to you, then your mind and body is more in control. There are places that you go to meditate. For example, there are people who brave enough, or they thought that they are brave enough. They go to certain places. There are beings really want to kacau you, you know. But not every time there are beings. Actually, a lot of times it's your own mind, you know. But there are times there are beings really kacau you. So again here, if your mind is not strong, and they can know that your mind is not strong, they can somehow feel that your mind is not strong and they want to kacau you more. Yeah. Tomorrow don't ask me about all kinds of beings, in the interview or at the end of the week, because I really do not know all these type of things, but I know that if you take care of your mind, if you stabilize the mind, this type of being doesn't kacau you so much because the fear is not there or the fear is little. And this type of things that your mind can able to control it is so much better than all the amulets and all the Buddha Rupa that you can have or whatever. In my, for example, because of this training, sometimes we stay in the forest, we don't even put a Buddha Rupa there also, or for any form of protection, or for or whatever beings, for these type of things. Although we do some chanting and so on, but even then also we keep the mind steady. And especially when we in the forest, and you meditate, as I said, sometimes there are snakes comes near you down there, I think I mentioned before. Down there, 30 years ago, maybe 20 years, 30 years ago, they meditate until that snake come on top of the hand there. See that time whether you're going to panic mode or not. Yeah. Sometimes we see this type of things like cacing like snakes anything that without legs we fear them. Yeah. But the thing is that can you keep the mind steady or not? Can you keep the mind without going into panic mode, without going into shouting and so on? So these type of things when we're training all over the time, then it become very helpful in the meditation. Because in the meditation, a little bit of sound, we are not so interested in those things. A little bit of bayang here and there, like shadow here and there. So what? If there's a being there. Without being there, we don't go and interpret about it because there's not much fear is there. So it's so much more easier to meditate. Everywhere you go, the whole mental protection is already built up. You don't really need to have an amulet or whatever it is because of that mind that is powerful enough. Yeah. So it is good that, as I said, it is really good that we know how to develop that upeka in our everyday life. So the unpleasant ones and panic mode, fear, anger, and so on, we try to lessen it. As the more that you can lessen it, you find that the mind comes into the center much more easier. But the other one is a bit more difficult. The happy ones. the comes with joy and happiness and that it's more difficult. And here again, as I said, the type of things that we do, well, a lot of times we seek joy, we seek happiness, and so on. Yeah? We sleep on the nice cushion and nice nice bed and so on. Sometimes in the different parts of a retreat, you don't get all this type of so-called luxury. Yeah. Nowadays, this type of the cushion they give it to you, this thick maybe sometimes a bit smaller, a little bit not so thick. We already grumble already. During the Buddha's time, monks are supposed to sleep on the floor. A little bit of just to cut a piece of cloth like that. Whether you are old or young. Even they sit on the chair, They call it a high chair, high seat, a high bed. Even it's a cotton bed to them, those days, it's considered luxury. Because if a monk sleeping on this type of luxury thing, then people have no faith. Then that's why you got your 7 precept there, or your 8 precept there. Yeah. But nowadays, cotton is so common. It's so common already. Yeah, it's so common. Yeah. But then again, sometimes we still, some people still adopt the this way. Yeah. But nevertheless, the type of happiness that we look for, the type of happiness, we forget that we need to bring back to the balance also. Because this type of happiness will change. Yeah, it will change. Now, even for me also, yeah, you know, devotees are very kind-hearted. Whenever you have a lunch dana, a lot of food one. Eat until do not know what to eat. Yeah. And sometimes the places that we went to, every day you eat more than the king. King also, you don't eat so much. And so many type of dishes. So many type of dishes. And then suddenly one day, devotees very few come, because you never know. And then only 2 or 3 dishes and then you get down. Yeah. So again, when things are good, again, we have to remind ourselves, not every day you're going to get like that. It is all depend on our karma. It's our good karma, we get this thing. And actually, if your karma is not that good, perhaps in the past you have not done the goodness that much. Sometimes monks have, even this time, they have a hard time to get food also. Hard time to get food. Yeah, and this type of food that comes up also is very much to do with your wholesome karma or the monk's karma they have done in the past also. Uh, some monks get more robes, some monks get very few robes. Although when we see in Malaysia that we have few monks, but a lot of devotees, a lot of robes everywhere. Yeah, a lot of this thing. But when you go to other countries, sometimes these kind of things are not so easy to come by. Quite struggling actually. And again here, depending on their karma also. And the karma, of course, when it comes as your present condition, present political situation, present the place that you are staying, and so on. It comes in this way. So whenever we have this type of food, this one, then a lot of times we reflect. We reflect that we take this food not for beauty and pleasure. A lot of you, sometimes before lunch, you put like that. I don't know what's going on in your mind, but I guess something like that. I guess, something like that. I've seen a lot of devotees nowadays are doing this type of things. Whatever it is, it's not a problem. And sometimes even you have a gratitude of the people who have prepared the food for you. Well and good. It's good. Yeah. But finally, sometimes I've seen them, in Buddhist society. While I makan here, sometimes they got their own food, they makan in front of me. So I start off with that. So, if they go inside there, we take this food not for beauty or pleasure and so on. Yeah, good. But the moment they finish, this one very good. Come, give me this one. That one also good. I want that one. Oh, this one you try. This one good. I cook for 5 hours. I try and did. Bakey liao. They completely forgot it. Then they start enjoy and so on. Like that. Yeah. So again here, I mean, these are devotees. You long time don't see each other. Makan together. You're happy. Of course, we know that this happiness. This is not to say that this is unwholesome in a sense. But here it's where, because of that, it's so difficult for us to bring our mind to the center. It's not easy because of that enjoyment. We seek food, we seek comfort, we seek entertainment or hearing. All these type of things, whether we realize it or not, it it helps us in our mind also. Every day, if like for example, some of you go tour, then when they go tour, the sambal also have to go together with it. Because in other places, you cannot take their food. So you got to bring your own food also to add in, so to make it nicer. Yeah. Because if you eat those things again and again, sometimes it gives the mind a lot of unpleasantness. Because we are not used to those type of food. Although this type of food give you some pleasantness, doesn't mean that you are supposed to attach to it. You see, pleasantness is also important for meditation, for development. There's one sutta that some monks in the past, in the Buddha's time, they meditate, cannot gain enlightenment or not much of enlightenment at all, not even the first stage, but they try so hard, They try so hard. But there is one devotee with psychic power. They look into the mind of this one, although the devotee is already anagami already, and then they saw that the monks are still not able to develop any form of enlightenment. So he looked into the causes. She looked into the causes of why the monks are like that, and then finally find that it's the food. That each one and every one of them, they have a certain particular way of eating certain things, certain food. And then because of that, she prepared the food according to the monks. And then the monks ate it. And the monks ate it, they gained some pleasantness in the mind, in the body. With that pleasantness, they develop until arahantship. Sadhu, but the thing is that, are you eating every day good food down there? And then anything or not? Sadhu. No, even though we have that, they say. But the thing is that if you don't get the proper type of food, if you get the food that is not agreeable to you, you're going to have a hard time meditating. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time meditating. Now, again here, sometimes I travel in different places of the world, As I said, as a monk, I learn to adapt to situation, to whatever food to eat. But sometimes certain places are really but you still have to makan, So, and then these places are that yogis went there, and Malaysian yogis went there. And Malaysian food is a variety of food, and over there's not much of variety, and the food is not usually ngam to you, like sour stuff lah. In the main food, is sour things, hummus, this type of things, creamy stuff and all that. And when they ate it, after a few days, every day just the same old thing. After that, they really cannot meditate. Really hard to meditate. I was there. They are there. I'm okay. But they have a hard time. But I also brought some food now from Malaysia also, I know these type of things are happening because I've been there a few times. So I share some of my food to them. Wow, it's like heaven. Bakwa only, It's only the meat, the goreng meat only, something like that, you know. Yeah. They're so happy already. Yeah. So the thing is that the type of food that we are taking it for granted, this type of food, it gives you happiness. It gives you pleasant feelings. That pleasant feeling is really important for the meditation. It's not that this because not because that we want you to give you every this one. We give you agreeable type of food. Yeah? Until you one day you find it that when the food is not agreeable, you're gonna have a hard time. So other words, while we are here also, yeah, make sure that all the food that what we are ever that we think, even that when they are back there, out there also, it's good. You take the food, but don't get attached to the food so much. Yeah, don't get too attached to the food. Sometimes you meet with people out there when whatever is good only, they will eat that food only, and then get very attached to these type of things. So don't do that. Eat moderately, even though although they are pleasant to you, but don't get too attached to it. Don't get too attached to it. These are some of the things that we bring the mind to the balance. Pleasant is good, but don't get attached to it. Don't get attached. Unpleasant, it's already unwholesome already. And already a lot of unwholesome. And then the time we bring it to the equanimity. Certain places also, as I said, certain places also that you can meditate better because of the condition is better for you. And this type of conditions may not be so agreeable to you. Or so may not be agreeable to one person to another person. Again, here, the food here for all of us, we are quite okay. Yeah? But for if an Ang Mo come in, let's say a foreigner come to our this everyday goreng one, everyday fried one, everyday this, then they want salad lah, they want creamy stuff lah, they want burger lah, they want pizza lah, these type of things. Then for if they cannot adapt to our way of then also they're gonna have a hard time. Yeah. So too, if we go to their places everyday pizza, also you're gonna have a hard time. Also, eat until you jela. First few days nice, So again here, sometimes for you, if as I said, the best is that you can able to eat everything, anything, whatever is given is proper, then it's easier for you to go for a retreat. Even as I said, some time back, even if you are vegetarian and so on, some places may be hard to give you this type of food. Yeah, many places they could, but sometimes difficult. Yeah. So this type of our senses, our hearing, smelling, tasting, and so on, we learn to control them. We learn to control them so that the mind doesn't too attach to them and also doesn't go too annoyed with them or too fearful because of them and too sad because of these type of things. So we bring the mind towards the center. It would be very good. And you do it for a long period of time. You find that your mind actually is happier. Happier in the sense that it doesn't come with enjoyment of senses, but happier because of that wisdom and understanding that arises. It's so much more better, actually. Yeah. With that, I think maybe I'll stop here for tonight. Tomorrow we'll talk about deeper stuff a bit. Okay, share merits. Idang me bawanang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of Nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema. We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe satta Sukhi Hontu, Anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.